string theory. And they want to use this theory to, set up a formula or equation to explain everything in this world. And I think it is a closed loop. Closed loop, and also motion. Motion. After watching this film, do you think you can have some understanding? Yeah, because we already studied Taoism and Buddhism theory. You can have your own idea or understanding. So why it is motion? At a sub-atom level, nothing, only string in motion. It is motion. We also talk about Einstein theory. So you can find some shortcomings for this theory. Some shortcomings. Do you have some idea?
What about why they move? Because when it has to move, it's the only way it can change.
It has to move. Always in motion. But when this string do not move,
there's no change.
Or no change.
If it stays as it is, there's no interaction, there's no change.
So please understand, such motion is there in relativity to what? In relativity to what? To
order.
Stillness.
Motion versus stillness, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
No stillness, where is motion? So you can say beyond of the motion it is stillness. So this motion arises as opposite to motionlessness. But scientists only see motion, no motionlessness.
It was funny how they were evolving the model. At first they had like just a string, and it was always moving, it was going, and it had a loop, which was actually pretty good because there's the cycling part of it, and then also like a line implies you have to travel as motion, time. Excuse me. So like, and it's moving too. Like, so you're going through the field of time, but it also loops. And then they said no. The next model was like, then they cut the loop, and it was like not a loop anymore, and that was. But then they realized that didn't work. So what they finally did is they brought it to a stable, like a field, and they brought it down like, remember at the end? So they had the loop like, so it was a loop again, but now it was like stabilized in something like still and more like a field. So it still had the motion and the time travel, but it was a loop again, and it also had like this very still, it was attached to a very still field, basically. So it's interesting how it has many elements of what we talk about, like the bigger Tao is kind of considered stable. And Taoism is ultimate stability, ultimate reference point of calm and stillness, and then so that's kind of like that field, and then it loops like the Tao De, the I Ching loops, and we keep cycling through the same thing, so it has that aspect to it. And it also has that it's always in motion, and yet it's attached to this very big thing that's like this, that's very stable, like a field, which is kind of like the Tao. So it has many feelings. It feels much like the things we're talking about. Am I making sense, or am I completely? Does that make sense at all?
Makes sense.
much is happening. It reminds me of our talks about the Tao, and theory.
So here we want to give some understanding of the motion is film, and string. Yeah, it is a closed loop in motion, and it is has extra dimension, extra dimension, and in different action or direction they continue to move. Yeah, so always. Yeah. But they understand this motion, arise in relativity or as opposite to motionlessness. Yeah. Motionlessness. Yeah. So motion. Yeah. Versus motionlessness. So okay, we already studied the Yijing. Yijing, yang. This is yang line. Motion, positive, active. You understand? This is yin line. Yeah, negative. Motionlessness. Yeah, motionlessness. Yeah, quiet. So, but people only notice this motion, not this stillness. They are always relative to each other. Yeah. If there's no motionlessness, no motion. So scientists have to pay attention to the motionlessness. But we know it is impossible. Almost impossible. Yeah. Only pay attention to motion, then forgot about condition.
You say also, whenever they interviewed the physicists, they were very uncomfortable with the idea of nothing, or the motionlessness, basically. They said, it makes me feel uneasy. Whenever they brought up something, concept like empty, that was like emptiness. Do you remember? Many times it was like something's wrong with theory because can't have. So to me, I think I understand what you're saying. It's almost like Western mind, science mind, motionlessness. Not only is it not thought about, it's like a problem to have motionlessness. Something has to happen. Have to have. Yes, is this what you're saying, kind of too? That scientific mind has a big problem with motionless being useful, or emptiness being useful, like Lao Tse or Chuang Tzu says, actually. Chuang Tzu said, yes, So this is what you mean, kind of, yes? Okay.
Yeah. So, please understand, this is some subatomic. Yeah. You focus on motion, but forgot about something else. Yeah. Motion arises as opposed to motionlessness. Yeah. No motionlessness, no motion. No motion. So Yijing theory is more, relatively speaking, is more complete. Yeah. Motionlessness. Yeah. See, they are together. So, nothing get omitted, nothing missed, nothing lost. Yeah. So, give a more complete view. We cannot conclude our Yijing is complete, perfect. No. Yeah. We see some things if we only see in one direction, other direction. Yeah. We know it will happen. Yeah. So, this is we should have some understanding after studying Taoism theory and Buddhism theory. Yeah.
So can the same be said of motionlessness then? It arises or retreats out of motion from motion, or no? It's
this
always that motion arises from motionless.
This motion, exists as opposed to the motionlessness. Or we can say, the background is motionlessness, then this is the foreground. Okay. For better understanding. Maybe some not exactly, but we know. they can help us to understand. So this is we can find some shortcomings, shortcomings of string theory. Maybe scientists will take notice. We don't know. We don't know. Second,
what is like in Kun?
in
Kun, you have like motionlessness, so there is not like yin and yang, like moving. It's like complete stillness.
we already mentioned like the unconditioned element. No any cause, so everything remains motionless.
Everything remains motionless.
Motionless. No cause. We will already talk about emptiness, free of any hindrance. Yeah. No any motion. Okay. We also watch the film, and if when people dive deep to reach the subatom level, then the direction, time, lose the meaning. There is nothing, only different motions like an ocean. We watch the film. Continue to move. Continue to move. Please tell me your understanding towards this phenomena or something else. Why? Why? Always in motion. I think because we already studied so much of the philosophy. You can have your own understanding. Why?
Why are the particles in
Why
motion?
is not particle like energy or waves in motion always? And the direction, time lose the meaning.
Because we have
And the 1, 2, there's no division.
because we have these opposites like motion, motionlessness, yin and yang, and they have different poles. So that's why they have to keep moving.
Why?
It's like a different, what is Ladung in English? Like
Charge.
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 Electrical
Like
charge.
minus and plus. So like you know, like the minerals in the body, they have different charge, and then they have to come merge together.
Because I think it's because we lose a reference point. We don't have a reference point anymore.
There's no reference.
No reference point.
No reference
anymore.
frame.
Right, no reference frame.
No reference frame.
What does that mean?
Why is that? What do you mean by that? Is that relevant?
You have no reference because
Distinction.
We dive deep to subatom level. Then we only say it is motion. No direction, but everywhere. Always in motion, like in the torrents. Torrents.
chaos.
Chaotic space.
Why? You ask why.
We
I
want to
don't
know.
understand where the reference comes.
Do you have your idea? For better understanding these manifestations or phenomena. Why? Do you think we should play this film again? You understand? Can you recognize?
To see the conflict between general relativity and quantum mechanics, we need to shrink way, way, way down in size. And as we leave the world of large objects behind and approach the microscopic realm, the familiar picture of space, in which everything behaves predictably, begins to be replaced by a world with a structure that is far less certain. And if we keep shrinking, getting billions and billions of times smaller than even the tiniest bits of matter, atoms and the tiny particles inside of them, the laws of the very small, quantum mechanics, say that the fabric of space becomes bumpy and chaotic. Eventually, we reach a world so turbulent that it defies common sense. Down here, space and time are so twisted and distorted that the conventional ideas of left and right, up and down, even before and after, break down. There's no way to tell for certain that I'm here, or both places at once. Or maybe I arrived here before I arrived here. In the quantum world, you just can't pin everything down. It's an inherently wild and frenetic place.
The laws in the quantum world are very different from the laws that we are used to. And is that surprising? Why should the world of the very small at an atomic level, why should that world obey the same kind of rules and laws that we are used to in our world with apples and oranges and walking around on the street? Why would that world behave the same way?
The fluctuating, jittery picture of space and time predicted by quantum mechanics is in direct conflict with the smooth, orderly, geometric model of space and time described by general relativity. But we think that everything, from the frantic dance of subatomic particles to the majestic swirl of galaxies, should be explained by just one grand physical principle, one master equation. If we can find that equation, how the universe really works at every time and place will at last be revealed.
You see, what we need is a theory that can cope with the very tiny and the very massive, one that embraces both quantum mechanics and general relativity and never breaks down, ever.
It's the turbulent, wild, chaotic state. And when time, direction lose the meaning. And the division between 1, 2, 3 get blurred. Why?
Well, this is, if you will, the potentiality of all existence. This is where everything is without, but I don't know how to put it, without any judgment, it just is. And then for us to function, we need to put order in the chaos. So the higher up we rise, we need to give it direction and we make decisions. So order arises from chaos, but down there, everything exists.
No, not correct. So if we regard this as a phenomena or manifestations, what is it? What are they? Why it is turbulent? Wild, chaotic? Why?
Because there is no structure.
Structure?
There is no structure, no rules.
The day, before Yesterday, we also studied the consciousness. Okay, I already offer some clue. No?
Yeah, but consciousness gives it the direction. Consciousness gives the order.
Understanding?
So it's the seed.
I mentioned, cognition. Okay. Cognition. Is also arise as opposite to its opposites. Objects. And also we talk about the uncertainty principle. We also mentioned if we really regard there is reality that can be cognized, we have to confess this reality is created by our consciousness.
Could you say that again, please?
Yeah. If we really regard, if we really think there is reality that can be recognized, we have to confess this reality is created by our consciousness. But this is really true? No, we know this is for better understanding. Even we give such statement, there are something wrong. But for better understanding, we have to see something in such way. So it is turbulent, wild, chaotic. What is it? What is it? And what are they? This is the manifestation of our consciousness at very deep level. Consciousness at deep level. Why? Our consciousness always motion. So we began to see our consciousness is in motion. But really this statement is correct? No, we cannot really see our consciousness. Previously I talked about we use our consciousness to examine, to check how the consciousness functions. It is confusing. But okay, we have to give some conclusion. This is the demonstration of consciousness at deep level. Very deep one? Relatively speaking, they are deep. So it describes our consciousness is in motion, nothing more.
So is this the level that you talk about when you speak about the seeds? Is it that level?
Okay. Okay.
That level.
Yeah.
That place.
So at very deep level, we know it is approximate to or close to it, because the eternal sense cannot be spoken of. But we have to speak. Okay, we use something. So what are you watching? Watching. How our consciousness is in motion. How our consciousness is in motion. Do you understand? So this is why we talk about quiet down, quiet down, quiet down. Quiet down. So at a very deep level, our consciousness is always motion. It is in wild, turbulent, chaotic state.
I follow this argument. I think it's a very good one, and it even is supported by what we just said earlier, about how prejudice of Western mind is to notice motion and discount stillness. So they see, all they see is the random motion, but like what you're suggesting, I think, is what we talked about a little earlier, is that the random motion is going on, but also there has to be, if we believe in yin and yang theory, there has to be the stillness too. But this is so is that partly what you're saying too, is that we see the consciousness motion, but we don't see the other aspect, which is stillness. So this is part of so this is why if we had a full model of this, it would not have just have motion, it would also maybe have this, maybe that's what the field is, where they tied the moving string to this big field. Maybe that's as close as they've gotten to the idea of stillness. Maybe that represents stillness right now in their model. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Even I say this is demonstrate how our consciousness functions at a deeper level.
Yes.
With understand. Because it is opposite, you know. So, yeah.
Yes.
We have to understand. We cannot use our consciousness, or we cannot use our mind to understand how my mind functions.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So even I say this is a manifestation, of our consciousness, not correct. But relatively speaking, it can help us for better understanding.
Maybe closer to.
Yeah, close to it.
Closer, getting closer.
Yeah, not exactly.
But not exactly.
No.
Totally different.
Yeah,
mind required.
Yeah.
Consciousness required.
Because we don't have other words to describe it. So we have to say, this is manifestations of consciousness at deep level. Yeah. So this is the reason why we always talk about our mind, quiet down. Yeah. Because this is like previously I mentioned, the still water with the still surface, it can reflect everything very clear. But when ripples, reflection, no, not the true features of everything, only some, we know, we understand that if it is ripples, across the water surface, we cannot see the true features of myself. Yeah, but when it is a clear surface, still surface of water, it is reflection of my true features. Then I can understand, the true features of the consciousness. Some idea? So you may say, there is nothing, only our consciousness. This is So the term consciousness only is for better understanding. For better understanding. Buddhism, some school claim everything derives its being from nothing but consciousness. This is for better understanding. They also confess you can see everything derives its being from materiality. I think we know they indicate one capability. Or energy. But for us to better understand the reality, we have to see something in such way. So when there is a thought, when there comes a thought, there is being. Okay. When there is no thought, there is no being. Okay.
What do you mean by being? Existence?
Yeah, existence.
But it's like the world exists even if I think or don't think. Or?
When there is no thought, no being.
So there would be no tree if I wouldn't think, wouldn't have a thought?
If there is no any thought, no being. Yeah, if there is thought, there is being.
Can you give an example? Can you give an example?
When your mind reach motionless state, no being. Because your mind stopped to cognize everything. So for yourself, no being. And in reality, Transcending. Yeah, in reality, really no being. Don't believe you have not reached that level. When you reach that level, I already mentioned, your body no more. Then outside world no more.
So by not being, you mean like everything like goes together, so no boundaries, everything is one, like what we had before?
Not exactly, because here we talk about cognition. Yeah. 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 Cognition arises as opposite to objects. Yeah. When no cognition, no objects. But people don't agree. Yeah. Okay, you mean when I die, this world continue to exist? Yeah, continue. But for your own self, change. Yeah. How to understand? Yeah. Please understand, all the world is nothing but my mind. All the world is nothing but my mind. Please remember, beyond of my mind, there is nothing. All the world is my mind. So this is you have to go forward, go one step forward. Yeah. But common people think beyond of my mind, there is an actual world. Yeah. Then the opposite. Yeah. Mountain is mountain. Myself is myself. They are separate. But one step forward. Transcend. This whole world is nothing but my mind. Beyond my mind, there is nothing called world.
So I create inside and outside, and I create mountain and me. If I don't create, if I don't have mind inside, outside, doesn't exist.
This is some, when you reach certain level, you will know. At this level, no. So it is more like a tree. Yeah. So one leaf, when one leaf see another leaf, okay, it is different. They are opposite. But actually, they have the same source. No difference.